This video doesn't necessarily concern a particular passage in the Bible, but it does concern the literary style that are used in many, particularly those describing God. When I was reading the book of Isaiah, they had a series of passages that said things like, rend the heavens, the mountains might flow down at thy presence, that stirreth up himself to take hold of thee, things like this. And so I've got to make the following observation about this literary style. How lavishly you say something has no influence whatsoever on its truth value. Just because you can sway an audience by writing in a florid and lofty manner doesn't mean it has anything whatsoever to do with it being either plausible or factual. Saying how a character is so heavenly and all-powerful, being able to move mountains, dry up the seas, bring war, peace, and make it sound like an ethereal love poem may be nice if you want to believe it, but it's just hearsay in reality, and it holds no sway with skeptics. A physics formula showing how a total abstraction can think and speak to people, or how something with no more properties than a complete void would be able to move objects would be much more convincing. If God thought it best to wait until humanity could understand scientific, methods like that, well, we're at that point now. So he should show himself in a way that makes scientific sense. In the centuries following Isaiah's time, the ancient Greeks began developing the idea of things made of atoms and of evolution, both of which are factual. If God exists, he could easily have stated so before humanity started figuring such things out, and would have not had his priests and his church squelch such knowledge and wallow in ignorance for the next 2,000 years. A second somewhat related point I'll make here concerns things like revival meetings and masses in which large crowds of people become rapturous about their faith while reading and singing inspirational passages. Providing the laity with music, an energetic speaker, and an awe-inspiring church is an attempt to add to the appeal of God by overwhelming them with visual and auditory distractions. Getting wrapped up in the spirit among fellow worshipers, all chanting joyous music, is simply enjoying the show while thinking they're enjoying the spirit. If God is so powerful, then the very idea of him would be sufficient to enrapture a person like that while sitting totally alone in a dark room. If you enjoy worshiping God more in a crowd, you may want to consider that you're doing this. Do you select your church based on the priest's oratory abilities? Remember, too, it states in Matthew 6 to pray in private and avoid vainglorious shows of worship. To use a different example than religion, even I, who have no interest whatsoever in professional sports, find myself cheering along with the home team, when I'm amongst 40,000 exuberant fans, just as people find themselves laughing along with people when they have no idea what the source of the humor is. Mob psychology is a potent force. As to the cathedrals themselves, don't be swayed into thinking God is great because humans constructed magnificent buildings such as St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City. There are ruins of many impressive pagan temples from antiquity and ones still used today to worship Lord Krishna that won't convince Christians and Hebrews of those gods' existence. So just because a good architect once got a church commissioned with a near limitless budget doesn't mean that God is omniscient, omnibenevolent, or even exists.